There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And, of course, I got all choked up because Pete Wilson's here today, and I'm so excited about it.
I had that effect on you?
You do. You didn't know you have that effect on the ladies?
No, I certainly did not.
We won't say that. Pam will beat us all up, won't she?
Okay.
But, no, Pete is here this morning with the morning news update brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135. And she'll be out working hard for you, the same she's working hard all the time.
All right. Well, very good.
So, yeah. So, Pete, haven't seen you in a little while, couple of days. So, right. I'm sure that's given you a lot of time to get some more news gathered up.
There is a lot going on. A lot that has happened. A lot in the process of happening, and things right in front of us, including the Jackson Apple Festival next week. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll be having some special guests come in here on Main Street TV here.
Super excited.
Upcoming telecasts. So, but we're going to start off talking about what was a very hot button issue at the Jackson County Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. There is a proposal by a North Carolina-based company called Sun Energy One to put a solar plant in Bloomfield Township.
Yes.
Now, it's kind of in a remote location of Bloomfield Township. It is described as a 140 megawatt solar power plant that would be on 2,082 acres of agricultural land that was previously mined with low mine production. And that's in Bloomfield. That's in Bloomfield Township. And the location is off Dixon Run Road on Luther Jones Road. Some property owners there, but not a lot of people live in that area.
Okay.
Supposedly, the Sun Energy One company has been looking at that site potentially for a while.
Okay.
However, there wasn't a lot of public knowledge about the pending project. Now, first of all, before I say anything about what happened at the commissioners meeting, nothing has been approved yet. To be approved for Sun Energy One to be able to do this, they have to get the approval of something called the Ohio Power Siting Board, which is part of state government and the Public Utilities Commission. They look at these projects, utility projects, electric, solar, whatever, and they decide whether they're okay. Now, all the criteria that they use to determine whether something's okay or not, I don't even know that yet, but we will know that because, it will be going before the Ohio Power Siting Board. But what's happened now, Jennifer, is that there is some public knowledge of what's going on out at the solar plant. And some of the landowners out there, landowners, property owners, residents, a few anyway, who live nearby, do not want the solar plant there for different reasons. They also complain that there wasn't notification that this was in the process. There was what they call a public information meeting earlier this summer on that.
I remember that.
And to be honest, we were not informed of that. We did not know that it was happening.
On the down low, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't remember any even legal advertisement going into any of our media platforms. I saw something out that a Bloomfield Township candidate had printed as a little newsletter saying, here's what's going on in Bloomfield Township, solar plant information. Oh, okay. And so we sent Phil Buffington to that meeting, and he covered it. And so there's been that publicity. But as far as in advance of that meeting, there wasn't any publicity that I know of other than maybe that newsletter from a person who's running for office in Bloomfield Township. His name is Brian Leach. Okay, so Phil covers the meeting. There's some, of course, some notoriety about the project. Since that time, this at least small group of opponents, they put out signs. You may have seen them out. No solar plant.
I've seen them. It's got like a 937 number on it.
It's got a little campaign sign. Got a contact number for a Dana.
Is that a attorney or?
I don't think so. I think that is a landowner, but they have organized, and at the commissioners meeting on Tuesday, there was a group of people who were against a plant being built there that attended the meeting.
Okay.
And very unhappy about it. They complained about the notification. They complained about environmental issues, potential environmental issues with that plant going there. They complained once again about how come we didn't know about this and all like that. The county commissioners told the group that they themselves did not know about it until earlier this year. Now, I never heard them discuss it at any of the commissioners' meeting. Maybe there wasn't a reason to,
right?
But they were aware of it earlier in the year. They say it's not their decision. It's not the township trustees' decision whether the solar plant would go there.
This is above their heads,
it's
right?
The Ohio Power Siting Board. Now, maybe they could take a stance for or against, and that would weigh into the decision of the Ohio Power Siting Board. Not sure. I'm not sure what the criteria all is for that. However, when this goes before the Ohio Power Siting Board, and even on the local level, election coming up with trustees running in Bloomfield Township, this is obviously going to be an issue out there. And so we will see what happens on that. But right now, nothing has been approved, but it is on track.
Okay.
And I don't know whether the opposition of adjacent landowners, of governmental officials, whether they be township, county, school district, would be an issue in stopping it or not. But here is another factor. It would create solar power that wouldn't necessarily be used by people here. It would be used by this company to sell to their customers wherever they are, all right? This would just be kind of like a solar generating station. What it would do is, because it's a utility, and they're on Jackson County land, it would produce, it's not direct property taxes, but it would produce a form of revenue that the solar...
Big time revenue.
A big time revenue, right. And no exact figures because nothing's been negotiated yet, but there's been some preliminary figures put out, and the Oak Hill School District, which is where Bloomfield Township is, the Bloomfield Township, some of the county government entities, because it's in Jackson County, they would all benefit with an extra stream of tax revenue, and it would be significant. So that is another plus factor.
Yeah, like a lot of money.
Right.
But that's not the only. I mean, you can't weigh that as the only factor, Pete. But
it's not the only factor, but it would create a lot of a different kind of tax revenue, not straight property taxes, but how they get taxed. And it's actually a negotiation process between the company and the governmental entities involved. It's not, a strict formula that is used. Solar power plant is also coming in Vinton County, and we know that their entities, the figures are out there. The school district, some of the county entities, the township where it is going to receive a lot of money because of the solar plant.
Couple questions for you on that.
All right.
Does the company own the land already?
The company either owns the land or has control of it.
Okay.
Meaning that it might be, if it goes through, they will go ahead and purchase it. They may have already purchased it, Jennifer. That point I'm not sure of.
That's a lot of acres, I guess.
They do have the control of the land, but there's some folks who had bought land out there and that were in this group, at least one, and they were sore because they bought it when this project was already, being planned, and said, well, how come, we didn't know? Well,
right. They feel like they got duped.
Right. And like I say, I do feel that, maybe it was an honest error, but there wasn't a lot of notification about this public information meeting. And the suits were there, and Phil was there, but there wasn't a lot of other people there.
Because people didn't know about it. Okay, second question. What are I'm just asking for my own knowledge, other than the unsightliness of it, because you're going to have 2,000 acres full of solar panels, I guess.
That's what I would guess. I haven't seen a depiction of what it would look like.
Other than that, what are the concerns? Are they health concerns? Are they, Well, I understand if you've got like a bunch of windmills and it kills all the birds, and that's been a huge ordeal.
Well, the residents.
I just wondered.
The residents or property owners who opposed it. I think it was the way I read Phil's story. It was rather speculative. They were wondering, what's this going to do to the environment? What about the animals? What about the birds? Because this is a pretty wild place now.
That's a fair question.
Should that be weighed into it? And also just the fact, hey, listen. We bought this. We own this land in a bucolic area, pastures, fields, and now this plant is going to be right next door to us. Our property, is not worth what it was, and we didn't know.
Well,
or we don't want it there. Doesn't it matter what we want? Now, there is no rural zoning in Jackson County.
right.
So that's not going to come into play.
Okay. All right. My mind is just wheeling right now
Right.
of all the
you know,
different.
you always try to put
parts of
yourself. You always try to put yourself in the place of all the people that are involved. The principals truly understand where they're coming from.
And I get the company is obviously trying to do what they need to do to run their company and make money. But I also understand if someone, came up to me and said, we're going to put 2,000 acres worth of solar panels next to your house, I probably wouldn't be very happy about that either.
You might not care if it's on the other end of the township, and maybe you benefit from better roads and all like that services.
Correct.
But if it's right next to you, oh my, no,
Yes.
I didn't buy in for this.
And
So, I think it does factor in. It's certainly a consideration, but once again, that's something, that we're going to have to research, because if this goes before the High Power Siting Board, and I think it's on track to do that, they go by a certain criteria. I'm sure that anybody can go to that hearing, wherever it is. It'll probably be somewhere in Jackson County. They can weigh in on it. But like I say, I don't know whether a petition would matter or whatever.
I
just
wonder
not sure
about
how that's weighed.
But I can tell you it's going to generate a lot of money for the township as well. And as you said, the Oak Hill schools. So
right, exactly.
It's like all of these things to weigh.
And if you're the commissioners or more so the township trustees, how about that position? I don't know that all the Bloomfield Township residents are against this. There's just some that feel they're effective.
That are personally affected by it.
But if you have a bunch of residents in your township that don't want it there, but yet your township will benefit greatly by the extra revenue, what do?
I know.
So, that's a tough issue.
Again, that's for a lot smarter people than we are, Pete, right?
Exactly. All right. Well, we are going to go from solar power to COVID-19. What do you say?
Oh, goody.
Yes, I know. We talked a little bit about it on Monday.
Wait, you mean COVID's not over, Pete?
No, it's not. It's not over. And
I was told it was.
By the way, I want to slip this in. I know the Governor DeWine, no-win situation, obviously.
Correct.
Well, he came out yesterday and said what a lot of people should have already realized. A lot of folks were saying on Governor DeWine, whether you agree with what he's done or not done, they say, well, he's running for governor next year. They're criticizing him for maybe not going farther on the restrictions because the cases are bad again.
I've heard that a lot.
Right. And so, he's running for governor. It's not popular with his own party or whatever. Well, yesterday, and it is true, there hasn't been any mandates. Well, yesterday he came out and said, really what you should have been able to know if you read between the lines, he can't do it because the legislature tied his hands. They passed something last year as things were subsiding and things were getting better, so you didn't pay attention to it much, that he cannot do mandates unless, he has legislative approval, certain mandates. Well, he vetoed that, and they overrode his veto.
They had enough votes to override
and yesterday, and this maybe was not the popular thing to do if you're him, he just flat out said, if it weren't for that legislative bill that passed, he would be doing the restrictions again. So maybe you clap for the legislature, or you clap through the line.
Depends on what side you fall on.
It depends on where you stand.
Right.
But he wanted to make that clear yesterday. All right, but anyway, the latest update on COVID-19, once again, underscores the fact that it's young people that are getting the virus this time.
Yep.
The Vinton County Health Department, for the third straight week, put out its age breakdown of the most recent cases. 115 cases in the last week, September 8th through the 15th. Of those 115 cases, 58 of them, 58 of them, and James has the numbers up there, 58 of them are people who are under the age of 40. And I think this is interesting. Look at that number there, ages 10 to 19. 29. Now that, a lot of those kids, are people I presume, are school age kids, right? Or teenagers. So 29. And something else I noticed, the numbers for the 0 to 9 category were up from the last report. It was 6 a week ago, and now it's 13.
So those first two sets of numbers are school age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're school age, and presume that they're in the Vinton County schools.
Yeah.
And of course, the Vinton County, we covered it earlier in the week, standing right now 4th in the state in per capita cases of COVID-19. Jackson County 14th. But on the other end of that age breakdown for COVID-19 in Vinton County, ages 70 and older, only 8 of the 115 cases are the people 70 and over. 8 of the 115. And
you think that's because they've been vaccinated more?
I think it's logically to assume.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the people who are younger have not been vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And so there is a real campaign. Please vaccinate if you're over the age of 12. It hasn't been approved for 12 and under. So that's why they've had these vaccination clinics. That's why there's been news releases. That's why there's been speeches, advisories to do that. And I think there has been more, but I just don't know how many. All right, so we'll keep our eye, of course, on the COVID-19 situation.
Okay.
And there'll be some cancellations that we may talk about a little later. But here in Jackson, there was a development at a zoning board meeting on Monday night. This was before the Jackson City Council meeting, but I think it was maybe the most newsy thing out of the meeting, out of the evening anyway. The Zoning Board of Appeals voted unanimously to rezone and to grant a conditional use permit for property. This is just behind the PNC Bank at 265 Pearl Street. Bryant and Sally Wolford are the owners of that property.
Right.
It's just a green space right now.
Is that where I was trying to? Phil wouldn't know because he's not. He's a youngster.
Yeah.
But is that where my Uncle Lewis had his?
Yes, it is.
Then there was the boarding house above it.
Yes, the Lewis Long Insurance.
And then it burned down, right? Like several years ago.
Right, and Bryant has had. I'm not sure
Uncle
how long.
Lewis, we found somebody brought us matchbooks the other day from Uncle Lewis's insurance office.
Okay,
isn't that cool?
I do remember the old sign, Lewis Long Insurance. I remember even Lewis Long. So
I do too.
We're dating ourselves.
Miss him.
But anyway, the zoning board, it is that green space. The easiest way to say if you're a local, it's right behind the PNC Bank, but it faces Pearl Street across from the county where the economic development office used to be, and catty corner from the PNC Bank's drive-through.
Like the drive-through.
Drive-through, and then the Skaggs Law Office, the former Skaggs Law Office next door.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know where it is. But anyway, that has been rezoned from business to it's being rezoned from business to residential, so Buckeye Community Services can build that group home that they wanted to put on Huron Street, but they ran into neighborhood opposition. And remember, we had that split vote of the zoning board. There wasn't enough votes in favor of it. You have to have 3 votes. There was only 2.
Correct.
Because 2 people were absent, just background. And so they backed off the Huron Street site, even though they felt they had the right to be there, talked about coming back on that issue. They looked for another site, and it's this site at 265 Pearl Street. And there was opposition, though. The AMVETs, which have a canteen and a quarters just across the street, and they also have a parking lot right next to it, Sunset Caldwell, representing the Jackson County AMVETs, opposed that project or opposed the rezoning and the conditional use permit on the grounds that, it's mostly business around here. Look around here. You're messing with a zoning plan that was done a long time ago. We think that it ought to stay business. You make this residential and maybe something else will be residential and have a checkerboard. They also felt like there's not enough downtown parking and that this would bring, more vehicles in, a building there. And of course, what we're talking about, that group home, it's already existing. It's at 6 West South Street, near the Cardo's Pizza. And that house, it used to be a house, a beauty shop down below. Buckeye Community Services wants to have a single-story building for those 8 developmentally disabled ladies who are older.
Yes.
A better place. And this will be closer to town. It will be on 1 story.
1 story for them.
Right. And that's what they wanted to do on Huron Street. But once again, it was true that most of the neighbors there opposed that project because they just felt like it would make the neighborhood too busy, and they talked about parking problems too. So anyway, this project will almost certainly go through because now Mr. Wolford and Sally will sell that property, we presume, to Buckeye Community Services, and they can go on with their building project. They'll have to get permits and all like that, but the big hurdle was the rezoning and the conditional use permit. They stumbled when they tried to get the conditional use permit for the lots on Huron Street.
Well, I feel like they'll allot for some parking when they build the place.
Right.
Wouldn't they?
Well, at the old place, the old site on Huron Street, they countered the parking argument by saying they were going to have on-site parking, meaning they're not going to park on the street. They're going to have a parking lot on their property that
Which I would assume
that employees and staff members and visitors would use when they go to the group home. I don't know whether that's the site plan, if they're that far enough along for the Pearl Street site. But anyway, that looks like that will be a go, and it will be change the skyscape of our downtown there because there'll be a group home there. Patrick Ball was there. He's on the BCS board. That's young Patrick Ball.
Yes.
He was on the BCS board, and he talked about how, the development of disabled ladies, they'll make good neighbors. There shouldn't be any opposition because of that. He also pointed out that there are also residences nearby as well as businesses, which is true. If you cross Pearl Street there's a couple homes there right by the PNC drive-through. And they also feel that's a good location for the ladies, close to the library, close to the downtown.
And they're on the Apple Festival route.
They're on the Apple Festival route. I don't think they'll get that built in time for the Apple Festival.
Not this year.
All right. Speaking of, let's talk about the Apple Festival. We're going to have a lot of publicity, a lot of coverage in our pre-coverage in our Saturday paper. And we'll have a general story. We'll have the schedule. We'll have a story about the Apple Festival Grand Marshal, Randy Heath. We'll talk about what the Apple Festival is doing, what it's not doing, etc. But basically, it's almost a full-go festival. It is the 80th annual Apple Festival. They wanted to make it special last year because it was the 80th, and you know what happened. COVID came along.
It did.
And for the first time since World War II, no Apple Festival. But they're going to have it this year with all the normal trappings. Some changes, things have occurred that were out of their control. But the bottom line is everybody wants to know, is there going to be any restrictions or whatever? Well, they're certainly going to have a lot of hand sanitizer. They certainly encourage people to wear masks and try their best on the distancing. However, there are. I know. I'm just telling you. It's all voluntary though.
Right.
There will be no requirement that if you're at the Apple Festival and you're outside that you wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, they may they may pat you on the hand or on the head that you're doing it, but you don't have to do it. No restrictions, COVID restrictions. Now, if you go indoors, there may be restrictions because of something that's already established by some of the businesses and so forth. But the Queens this year, we want to mention them. Katie Howard, there she is in the middle. That was that picture was taken the night of the Apple Festival contest back in April. Katie is in the center there. She is the queen. She is the daughter of Phil and Dina Howard, and also Steve Brown. Mm-hmm. And there on the left is Kristen Clark. She is from Oak Hill, graduate of Oak Hill High School. She is the first attendant. And on the right, in the white dress, is McKinley Morris.
Yep.
She is the second attendant.
Cool.
So they will reign over the 2021 Jackson County Apple Festival. Also, Randy Heath, former mayor, longtime Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce director. We've announced this before. He will be the Grand Marshal of the 2021 Jackson Apple Festival. And I can say this from covering the news and being around Randy for a long time while he was in public life, which was for a long time.
A few years.
There was no bigger booster of the Apple Festival than Randy Heath. Right. Of course, as a chamber director, he was involved in public relations and all like that. And he felt like from his travels around the state that people identified Jackson and Jackson County with the Apple Festival, and it was a positive thing. Brought a lot of visitors to town.
Yep.
And he now, for his public service, and I'm sure his support of the Apple Festival, being rewarded by the Apple Festival Committee as this year's Grand Marshal. Of course, he was a 3-term mayor until he elected not to run in 2019, and he was the Chamber of Commerce director for about 25 years, something like that. He's still on the chamber board, active in other ways. And I know he's thrilled and deeply honored to be the Grand Marshal, and he will not be here tomorrow, but he'll be on the show tomorrow.
He will be.
I believe it will be a virtual type deal that James Hamilton will make happen.
Via all those buttons James pushes over there, the magic buttons.
Right, and I will warn you up front, he will give you a run for your money on talking.
Oh, I know.
You
Hey,
might get to
listen,
give your chin a rest a little bit. Sorry, Randy.
this girl is happy to back up and let Mr. Heath talk.
Okay. Well, unless he's changed a little bit, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But also on Monday, Jennifer, the Apple Festival Committee has a new president, and that is Brandon Davis.
Okay.
And Brandon, there he
Yeah.
is. That's him speaking, giving some announcements at one of the Apple Festival contests. He is a first-year president, but he's been on the committee for a long time, and he comes by it natural. His father, Brian Davis, was president, I think, at least 3 times. So he will be here.
Sorry.
Bless you. Are you allergic to Brandon?
No, I like Brandon.
Okay. Well, he will be here on Monday.
Okay.
And he will go over a lot of I'm not going to go into great detail on all the things happening, but of course he is the ultimate authority. I think he's also going to be on Matt McKee's radio show as well. So
we can't wait.
Brandon will be here on Monday. The Apple Festival, once again, Tuesday through Saturday on the downtown streets of Jackson, September 21 through 25. The highlights, we got 3 parades, the school parade, the opening parade, both on Wednesday, the grand finale parade on Saturday night. The main entertainment is Nashville recording artist Phil Vassar.
Yep.
He is a nationally known name. The tribute artist this year, they always do that on Thursday evening, is the Parrots of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
If you didn't know any better, you'd probably guess Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
You guessed right. So they will be here
fun.
They will be here on Thursday evening. The concert by Phil Vassar is 9 o'clock on Friday evening. It's always on Friday evening. It's usually a Nashville artist. It is again. And the inimitable Jason Gillum will be opening for him. Once again, he's had that honor the last several years. He will be opening for Phil Vassar. Lots of other entertainment set up as well. A couple other highlights to mention for the festival. The Bates Brothers Amusement Company, they've been the carnival operator, rides operator for years. They won't be back this year, but they've got a new company coming in called Big O Amusement. And Brandon Davis has heard favorable reviews on that, feels that they will be a good addition to the festival. But they do expect to have bands in the parade. The Jackson High School band program will have their band show on Saturday. So, just a lot going on. We got the Roots concert down at the Lyndon Jones Museum. I know we've talked about that on TV. All sorts of things happening on the Midway and off the Midway. There'll be an art show at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center. There'll be a craft show at the Memorial Building, and there'll be a quilt show at the Faith Lutheran Church. So a lot of things going on. And also, there's going to be a big car show that's going to be out at Manpower Park that Brian Jarvis and the Apple City Motorcycle Club are putting together.
Oh,
so
good.
These are all things that we may talk about, next week before they happen. Also, the Rotary Club and the Lions Club, unfortunately, will not have their booths this year. That's not because they didn't want to, but there's a manpower situation.
Yep.
And it just isn't going to happen for them. However, they were fortunate, the Apple Festival Committee, in getting 2 other anchor booths to take their place. World Outreach Ministries, that's the big church there, Wellston, where Splashdown Park used to be. Rob Irvin and his group will be there, and it's a big church, so I'm sure that they'll offer a lot. And then the Buckeye Hills Culinary Group from Buckeye Hills Career Center, they'll get to practice their culinary skills having their booth one place. I'm not sure whether Buckeye Hills is where the Lions is or World Outreach Ministries where the Rotary is, but I think that's how it is.
Can I put in a request for fried pizza rolls, no matter who does them?
I don't know what they're going to do.
Can you talk to somebody about that?
Right, I know. Who's going to do the fish and veals that the Line did? Who's going to do the mushroom and pizza rolls that the Rotary did? Somebody will step into the breach, I'm sure.
I hope so.
But you know what? Even if they're not there, I think you'll have some other foods.
I'd say you're right.
Opportunities.
No problem.
All right. Wanted to talk about something going on later today that is a big deal in the village of Colton. We've talked about their improvement projects that have taken place, their neighborhood revitalization grant with work finishing up on that. But they also got a major sanitary sewer project. I know that sounds boring, but it's a big deal for the village because inside the village, even though they have a fairly modern sewer plant, they've been using septic tanks for the individual customers. They're going to have a sanitary sewer system, and this afternoon at 2:30, Mayor Kim Milliken is going to have the signing of a contract, the formal signing of a contract with the Army Corps of Engineers. They are to have representatives there, and it's going to be a press event. Our own
It's a
Red
big
Thompson
deal.
Jr. will be there, and James Hamilton may even be there. That's how important this is.
All right.
So that's at 2:30. We're going to have coverage on that. We've had coverage before, on the front end of this happening, but there's going to be more news coming out this afternoon as well. So congratulations to the Village of Colton. The weatherman has not been good to Wellston High School and its soccer program. Twice they've tried to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new soccer field up there on the high school campus where the track is. And twice they've had bad weather and they've had to cancel the ribbon cutting. It was supposed to be yesterday, but I'm sure they'll try again a third time. The third time's the charm, right?
Third time's the charm.
Right. All right. So we move on. And we received some news yesterday that was a little surprising. A lot of folks probably didn't know this, but two very familiar faces, and another fact, the two directors at the Jackson County Board of Elections are stepping down. They are retiring, and it's going to be at the same time.
What?
Joanne Evans, who is the current director, appointed by the Republican Party, and Cheryl Browning, she's been there even longer than Joanne, appointed by the Democrat Party. She's currently the deputy director. They have both confirmed that they will be retiring officially at the end of June next year. They're giving a lot of notice to the board. And so they are putting out an advertisement in the local papers advertising these two positions. It is director and deputy director. Applications are now being accepted or will be accepted very soon. And then they want to have a hiring done by February next year, the 1st of February. And then the new director and the new deputy director will work with those two ladies for several months.
I mean, this has to be an on-the-job training thing, especially having them both leave at the same time.
Right, exactly.
That doesn't happen normally.
No, probably not ideal, but the way they've got it set up, they should be fully trained because they'll, February, March, April, May, June. You're talking about 5 months of training there from the people who know how to do the job. Those are full-time jobs, with the benefits and all. And I believe that the respective party committees, Republican Party and Democratic Committee, will get to make those selections. So we'll be hearing more about that. But Joanne Evans and Cheryl Browning, two very nice ladies. I've worked with them for years over there. Yeah. And I had heard that, they were planning their retirements, but I just didn't know when. So
that's a big deal.
So once again, they will be retiring at the end of June. And they want to get these applications in soon. The deadline for the applications, and we'll be writing stories about it, and you can also see the ad in the paper. The deadline for applying is December 31st, 2021. That is this year, of course.
Okay.
All right. City of Jackson, at just prior to Monday night's Jackson City Council meeting, a new councilman was sworn in, and that is Harold Newkirk. There is Harold on the left. If you're watching on the monitor there. Harold is on the left. He is the new second ward councilman in the city of Jackson. He's being sworn into office by Mayor Randy Evans. And Harold is taking the place of the late John Peters, who of course, passed away late this summer. And since that time, the Republican caucus for the city of Jackson got together and chose Harold Newkirk to take John's place. Okay. So officially, he began his new duties last Monday at the city council meeting. He was picked by the city caucus to take John Peters' place on the ballot in this November's general election. Gotcha. Because the unexpired term that Mr. Newkirk is serving just goes through the end of the year. It is a 2-year term, and it was supposed to be on the ballot. It is on the ballot in this November's general election. And so the way the law works, the party can not only pick the temporary replacement, but they can pick who goes on the ballot, and you figure it's going to be the same person. Right. And it was in this case. So congratulations to Harold Newkirk and best wishes to him. I know he's very serious-minded about doing a good job representing not only the city, but especially his ward over on the north end of town. All right. I wish I had their picture to show you, but maybe we'll do that the next time I'm here. But great news out of Jackson High School for two of the top seniors there. Chris Hughes and Sarah Lefevre. They are both two of the semifinalists for the National Merit Scholarship Program.
Wow.
Scholarship. Right. That is a big deal. Oh, I guess I did send their picture up. That is, of course, Sarah on the left and Chris on the right. And I know from, being a newspaper editor, they're in the news all the time for not only their academic achievements, but also their extracurricular activities.
Yep.
And I'll tell you how big of a deal this is, Jennifer. We'll just put it from a numbers perspective. 1.5 million students across the country try for this. As it turns out, only 50,000 really qualify for it. So the pool's down to that. Then only 16 of those 50,000 are picked as semifinalists. In our entire area, there were only, in our entire Tri-County area, there were only 2 students picked, and they both happened to be from Jackson High School.
How does that happen? Wow.
I don't know, but congratulations
That
to
is
Sarah
amazing.
Lefevre and Chris Hughes. And if you happen to, I think you get something financial if you're a semifinalist, but it really pays off if you are a finalist. And it is
so
a big
cool.
leap from applying to be in a semifinalist, but it's another big leap to be a finalist. And the finalists, the National Merit Scholarship finalists, will be announced in February, and it will include a $2,500 scholarship along with some other honors that go with that. So
That is
congratulations
great.
to them. Tyler Swackhammer, the principal of Jackson High School, called me yesterday and says, hey, has the National Merit Scholarship people sent anything out? They said they would. No, they haven't. And Tyler sent me something that the school put out.
He's got to be beaming.
Right, he is, because that reflects, of course, on the whole school, the senior class, and of course on the student and their families. So
Right.
congratulations to them.
Hey, Pete, can I interrupt you?
Yes,
real
you
quick?
certainly can. I'm
we
getting
did-
tired anyway.
Kathy Smalley just commented. This is going back to the Board of Elections story.
Hi,
She-
Kathy.
She said that she was under the impression that deadline was October 31st, not December 31st. So
Okay.
that might be something. we
All
wanna
right.
double-check.
You know what? I think did I say December?
You did
I am
say
I am
December.
so sorry on that. The deadline is October 31st. Kathy Smalley out there in
Kathy,
TV land.
you're
I
the
see
big
you.
winner.
Thank you very much. The deadline, I said the deadline was coming up, but I misspoke. December 31st. It is October 31st. So not much of a turnaround time there, when you hear about it for the first time. So if you're interested, take a look at the ad that will be in our paper. I think it will probably be in on Saturday because it has arrived here. And of course, now we know officially the plans of the deputy director and the director to retire there at the end of next June. But
October.
once again, that deadline is October 31st to apply for those 2 elections board staffing positions, the only 2 full-time positions in the office, director and deputy director. All right. So thank you, Kathy. All right. Big event in Oak Hill last Saturday, along with a lot of other things that were going on. Of course, we had the Ohio Hill Country Festival finale day. We had the 9/11 ceremonies and a lot more going on. But in Oak Hill, there was a suicide awareness event called Fight for Life.
Okay.
And these are the Sharps right there. And Tammy and Jeremy Sharp, they are the parents of Joseph Sharp, their 14-year-old son, who lost his life on an apparent suicide about this time last year. And you can imagine how hard that hit them and how much grief they must be feeling. They are holding a picture there, if you're watching on our TV monitors, holding a picture of their son, Joseph. And they wanted to do something to bring this issue to light and confront it. And I can't
That's
imagine
great.
anything harder to do if
Correct.
you have one that had to live through that, losing a teenage son that way. But they put on this event, they talked with our Alex Shope about it. We had it well publicized in advance. There was a pretty good turnout in Oak Hill last Saturday. But we are going to have coverage on that in an upcoming edition. Alex Shope was there to cover that as well. But the Sharp family, along with the Nix family, the Strickland family, and the Henry families, and several other volunteers, assembled in what they called a Fight for Life suicide awareness event. It was the 20th anniversary of 9/11, but it was also the first-year anniversary of the death of Joseph Sharp. And the purpose was to spread the awareness of mental health issues and suicide and to promote the greatest weapons our communities possess in our fights against it, and that is communication and knowledge. That is
Sure.
the first step in being able to overcome a problem is to admit that there is one. And you have to really admire the Sharps to step forward for what they feel is a problem that could be a problem and is a problem maybe through other families and other young people.
Yeah, and to talk about it, bring it to light. I think that's fantastic.
Right. I can't cite the statistics exactly, so I'm not going to give you any numbers, but I know suicide is maybe the second leading cause of death among teenagers.
It is.
Behind
Auto wrecks.
Auto wrecks, exactly. And so, proportionally, there are more teenagers committing suicide than some other age groups, which is a little surprising. Because
And COVID's made it
oh
worse.
my gosh, teenager, carefree, you got your whole life in front of you. Well, they have issues as well.
For sure.
Exactly. All right, on the business front, we want to report that the Hothead Grill and Cantino is not open yet. However, their sign is up.
Yay!
You can see there, it's where the GNC vitamin place used to be there in the McCarty Crossing Shopping Center. Now, it's not open. The sign is up. There was delays in getting it all done. Randy Evans Construction is doing the work, and they do a great job. But the problem is the supply line. A lot.
Tell me about it.
I mean,
I get it.
You get that at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, they've had trouble getting all the building supplies in they need.
Yep.
But the light is at the end of the tunnel, and they hope to open. I believe the date is Monday, October 11. That's tentative, but they're close, and they felt like they could put up the sign and kind of use that as a little PR to say we're getting close.
Yeah.
So that is the Hothead Grill and Cantino. Have you been to those before?
Uh-huh.
Tell me about it, because I haven't been, and I know a lot of people probably haven't been.
Kinda.
There's one in Waverly and Portsmouth, I
I mean,
think.
the best way to describe it would be like a Chipotle.
Okay.
Same basic concept
Okay.
there. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is a chain that is growing. I think it might be out of Dayton or something, but there are a number of them
Yeah,
that
there's
seem to be
several of
moving
them.
east, like La Rosa's did.
Yep.
All right. There is a really neat story that happened at the Jackson County Juvenile Court. You know about this, don't you?
I do.
Okay. All right. Ryan and Kristen Shoemaker.
Yes.
Of course, they're very well known in the community. Ryan works for the city of Jackson on the electric department. He also was one of the faces of the Apple Festival. Still is. He was
Still is,
president
yeah.
for a couple years. He and his wife, Kristen, adopted a child, and it was formalized on Tuesday in the
Yay!
courtroom of Justin Skaggs, who is the probate juvenile judge. And there they are, left to right. I'll tell you who they are if you don't know. On the far left is Sheriff Ted Frazier, who seems to be around a lot of the good things as well as the bad things that
That's
happen in
right.
Jackson County. Great guy. And then you have Anya Viverell, who is an attorney. I may have butchered that name, but she's out of Chillicothe. Then you have Ryan Shoemaker holding their young daughter, Cambry Ryan. She is 6 months old now. And then, of course, is Judge Skaggs, and he is holding a sign. You may not be able to see what it says. It says, "Signed, sealed, and delivered. She's yours," because that's when the adoption became official. And, of course, on the end is Ryan's wife, Kristen. They live out on Beaver Pike, and they are now the official parents of this
Yay!
6-month-old daughter, and she's beautiful, as you
She
can see.
is a gorgeous
in her white
and perfect.
dress.
Yes.
And this is a feel-good story. The Shoemakers had not been able to have children.
Yep.
They wanted children, and this was very unusual how this happened. Normally the image of an adoption process is it takes a long time, adoption agency legalities, bureaucratic hurdles,
Yeah,
can take
a whole
forever,
lot of stuff.
can take a year or more. Okay, the birth parents of little Cambry there, they put a Facebook post out through the attorney, the Viverell attorneys in Chillicothe,
Oh.
and they basically advertised on Facebook for prospective adoptive parents.
Okay, I didn't know this
That
story.
happened in early February. We go back to early February. They put this
Yeah.
post out, and here's what they said. "Please share. We have a prearranged adoption fall through, and our adopted couple broke up. They had friends who they were going to let adopt their child, and that didn't work out. So we are now looking through a couple that wants to adopt a child." And it was almost like a job description. You have to be stable, married couple with currently no children. You had to have tried and failed to have children and would be over the moon if you had your own baby. You have to be financially secure, and you have to be able to afford a baby. And they also would prefer higher education of the adoptive parents. We need to find this couple now. She is due in a few weeks. The mother was due
Surprise!
in early February, and she was due to have the child by the end of February. And so they went on a quick hunt through Facebook. Well, guess what? 500 plus inquiries.
Wow.
The Shoemakers, at first, Ryan told me he wasn't sure how legitimate it might even be.
Correct.
But they decided to call the number, and it did turn out to be this Chillicothe law firm. They left a message. They didn't know whether they'd ever hear anything back. Well, they did, and they turned out to be one of the 5 finalists. And long story short, they turned out to be the parents that were picked. They actually got the child the same day it was born, February 28th, at the Edina Regional Medical Center in Chillicothe.
Wow.
However, they still have to go through the adoption process. I think there's a mandatory waiting time, I think, because it gives the birth parents a chance to maybe change their minds. I know it's going to be tough.
God, that's stressful.
But they love the Shoemakers, and if you were there, Jennifer, I mean that picture speaks 1,000 words. But if you were there, you could see the love in the room and the happiness and the joy with the family members, and there were some other family members there as well. We're going to tell that story in an upcoming edition. We hope maybe in our Saturday edition. We've got a lot of news to put in the paper, but we wanted to let you know that that was coming, and we wanted to let our TV audience know about that as well. All right, so. The big story in Vinton County, of course, I think we talked about this before, is that they finished a bridge on the Moonville Rail Trail. That's a hiking, biking place in remote Vinton and Athens County near the famous Moonville Tunnel, the haunted Moonville Tunnel.
Got to go there for the first time this summer.
But, on this
Pretty
abandoned
cool.
railroad bed, you got to be able to get over the creeks and whatever. And so they spent, I think, over $1 million building this bridge. So that was a big deal. They had a ribbon cutting up there. Well, Red Thompson, who covers Vinton County for us and is very keyed in to the county's efforts to develop their tourism, especially in the northern end of the county where Lake Hope is, close to the Hocking Hills. He has written a column about the importance of this and what it could be for Vinton County, and that will be coming up in an upcoming issue of our paper. We look ahead to the weekend. The Oak Hill Marching Oaks are going to have their 16th annual band show this Saturday at Davis Stadium. It will start at 5 p.m. with a Block A. There will be a Block B at 7:30 p.m. There will be bands from all around the area, including the Marching Oaks. One of the visiting bands will be from Jackson. Also, the Vinton County band will be there as well.
Yep.
Tickets cost $7. They're adult general admission, $5 for students. A ticket is required to watch each block. Tickets are on sale now, online only. So this is important to get your tickets in advance. You can get them through the school website, and it's at Oak Hill Stadium Stroll Ludus.com. Just go to the Oak Hill School website.
Yeah. Look for the band show tickets.
They'll have the band show tickets.
Yeah.
All right. Big news. Trick or treat. It's going to be on Sunday, October the 31st, which makes sense. Halloween. In Jackson.
Oh, how cool.
Right. The Jackson,
That falls on
Wellston,
Sunday.
Oak Hill, and Colton Mares always get together and they try to coordinate on it.
They do.
And it's the same day and almost the same times with one variation. In Jackson, Colton, and Oak Hill, it'll be 5:30 to 7 p.m. on the 31st. That is Sunday.
Okay.
In Wellston, Charlie Hudson's going to let the kids trick-or-treat for an extra half hour. He's doing it from 5 to 7 p.m.
Good.
But once again, trick-or-treat in Jackson County on Sunday, October the 31st.
How cool.
All right. Also, in MacArthur, their village council at their last meeting, which was on Wednesday evening, by the way, they determined that trick or treat there would also be on Sunday, October 31st, and that will be 5 to 7 p.m. as well. All right. Next, a week from this Sunday, the Vinton County Air Show will be held. I don't know whether you've ever been there, but they do a great job. It's one of the best.
Chicken dinners.
The chicken dinner is a side benefit of that. And it's actually, the air show is free, but they do ask for a parking charge. This year it's $10, but you can pile them in there, get a lot of people in there, and that helps. They have the air show also to promote the airport, but also to raise money for a small rural airport. And they're going to do some special things this year, according to Nick Rupert, who is, I think, the president of the Vinton County Pilots and Boosters Association. That's going to start at 1 p.m. on Sunday the 26th up at the airport. That is north of MacArthur, about 5 miles. You take a right turn off State Route 93.
There's signs.
Right, you will see it. But there's
Says airport.
the band, the Vinton County National Band is going to perform there. There's going to be skydivers. There's going to be a candy drop. I think Santa's going to parachute out of a plane even. So a lot of things. A lot of
Yes.
things. I mean, he's used to being up in
Don't
the air.
you know that, James?
Is that a thing?
Santa does. Yes,
Santa
he
parachuting?
he comes to the Vinton County Air Show via parachute. Yeah.
I did not know that.
He's gonna jump out of the plane. Like I say, if you can fly around in the sleigh, you can handle that.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Next week, because of the Apple Festival, the Jackson City Utility Office drive-through window will be closed. You know, it's kind of traffic.
Yeah, you can't get through there.
Can't get there. But the utility office will be open. A lot of people use the drive-through, so they wanted to let you know it would be closed next week, Monday through Friday. But the lobby will be open 8 a.m. to 4 as normal. The night drop will also be available as well. Also, the Jackson City Library will be closed next week for renovations. I guess that's a good time to close up because a lot of people probably want to park around there anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be closed for renovations. It'll be exciting to see what they do, but that will be the 18th to the 25th. That's Monday the 18th through through Friday the 25th that the library will be closed.
Okay.
And also in Wellston, Mayor Charlie Hudson has announced that a railroad crossing in a key area of town will be closed. It's at West Broadway Street and Railroad Avenue. That's as you're coming into town just before you get to Ohio Avenue. A lot of traffic through there. But starting October the 22nd, it's going to be closed while they do repairs on that railroad crossing. It will also affect Park Avenue right in that same area. And then on October 6th, they're going to have to do the railroad signal work. So for a while, you won't be able to cross that crossing from either end. You'll have to kind of go around and be aware of that. Also, our good friend John Pelletier wanted to let everybody know that the Wellston Rotary Club will be sponsoring the 5th Annual Dan Lockard Memorial Golf Scramble on Saturday, October 2nd at the Franklin Valley Golf Course. Check out the paper this weekend for more details, and we'll talk about that again. Friday night football is on again.
You got it.
Wheelersburg at Jackson, Wellston at Alexander, Oak Hill at Nelsonville, York, and Athens at Vinton County. Right now, all those games are on. Remember, Vinton County's games last Friday was canceled due to COVID, or at least postponed.
Right.
We don't know about a makeup date for that. Probably not because the way they're doing the playoffs. But all those football games, once again, Wheelersburg at Jackson, Wellston at Alexander, Oak Hill at Nelsonville, York, and Athens at Vinton County will, of course, be on the radio and will be, you can also get them, through the app as well. You don't have to have just a radio to be able to hear the game. You can be wherever.
Absolutely.
As long as you have a device. All right.
Was that it, Pete? Jeez.
Yeah, I made it through. And I don't know whether I gave you time to say that it's going to be cloudy today.
Well, that's all right. We always make time.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, very good.
Well, thank you, Pete. Appreciate it. All right, Pete's Morning News Update, of course, brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. So give her a ring. All right, speaking of that app, there is your Total Media Radio weather forecast. And what that means is you can download that Total Media Radio app and listen to live local radio on your phone anywhere or anytime you want to. And that's pretty neat. All right, for today, partly cloudy, highs around 81 degrees, mostly clear tonight, lows around 63. Then on Friday, a little bit warmer with those mostly sunny skies for your football Friday, highs around 86 and lows around 65. Then looking on to Saturday and Sunday, just a beautiful weekend to get set up for the Apple Festival and also for the Pawpaw Festival down at Lake Snowdon. Saturday, Sunday, highs of 84 and lows of 62 with partly cloudy skies. So it doesn't get much better than that. All right, James, you got anything over there?
No, just be sure to tune in tomorrow. Randy Heath is going to be our guest.
Yes.
Grand Marshal of the Jackson Apple Festival Parade.
That's right.
Yeah.
Always look forward to talking to Randy because he's a hoot and a lot of fun, and haven't gotten to see him lately, so it'll be fun catching up with him, find out what he's been up to.
And we're going to have a lot of Apple Festival coverage next week. We're going to have some music. We're going to have on Monday and Wednesday, we're going to have people from the Jackson County Roots
Yes.
are going to be up here, play some music for us, hopefully. We're
Gonna be good.
Yeah, we're going to have the Queens up here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And James and I are going to go down and get into trouble down on the streets, too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Get an elephant ear or funnel cake or something.
Oh, there's going to be some eating. Like, if we're going to go down there, we're going to eat some stuff, too.
Yeah, well, I guess we should probably get that cinnamon roll you were talking about yesterday.
Definitely. And you better look out because James and I think, are going to man the booth for a couple hours,
Total
too.
Media is going to have a booth.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at, but we're going to be, helping people subscribe for the Telegram. We're going to help people download that Total Media app.
That's right.
People subscribe to watch our show.
We're probably going to get arrested down there, I would guess. But anyway.
Matt McKee's going to be doing live remotes from the Apple Festival every day, I think.
Very cool. So
yeah, lots going on.
We have a lot to look forward to this weekend and next week. So that's a good thing. And some beautiful weather in the forecast as well. So, Alrighty, let's get out of here for the day. Lots and lots of stuff to do, and Jamie and I are headed down in a little bit to deliver all the beer to the Pawpaw Festival to get it all set up for that this weekend. So look forward to that as well. All right, well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to our good friend Pete Wilson for stopping by, and we will see you right back here on Friday tomorrow with the Grand Marshal of this year's Jackson Apple Festival, Randy Heath. So until then, have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.